If you take the early years of the internet when there were only geeks like me and others onto that, you really couldn't use it for that much, but you knew that it had enormous potential. You could communicate via a protocol to any computer hooked up to that network. Wow, that's like, whoa. But the premise of blockchain is actually much, much further than that, because we already have that. But it's about how we transact.
Who can you trust? Fake news, lying politicians, corrupted banks, nations in free fall. In a time of conflict, this is crucial. When neutral media has fled the scene and all we are left with is ourselves, the only thing certain is numbers. In a time when information was kept secret and under the radar, I put my trust in code. Me and Reza were hacking whatever system we could get into. Inserting worms, Trojan horses and spyware, hoping it would buy us and our families some time. But we were running out.
Expecting anyone?
No?
Hello?
Who was it?
I don't know. Someone left this with your name on it.
Creepy.
What is it?
From the moment I saw the photographs, I knew somebody had trusted us with their life. I know it sounds funny because that envelope was like a death sentence, really. But it gave me hope. We had some hard evidence, and it was given to me. Somebody had trusted us.
Trust is very hard to define. An essential glue in the social fabric. So a society without trust is not really a society.
Society. It's a regional peculiarity. And it's really important to understand that, right? The blockchain is a global technology. It exists in places that essentially don't have society.
But of course, in everyday life, we trust technologies in a number of ways. We depend on them. So that means that trust runs very deep also into the technological infrastructure that governs many aspects of our lives.
The Chain Cloud, one of my first apps. It was, well, is a cloud service to upload, store, and share anything digital. Built on the blockchain protocol, decentralized, secured by millions of computers working in sync. That made it practically unhackable and only accessible if you know the cryptographic key. Memorize the key and your stuff will be safe.
The blockchain is this new network of trust that enables transactions to be validated on computers. So now, instead of going to a third party, instead of going to an intermediary, that could be a bank or a financial institution or a corporation that we trust today, the trust is going to be in the network of computers that are talking with each other, that are always in sync with each other, that always know about what each other is doing. So that's why we say that the blockchain is a trust network.
That was my last one.
Oh, shit.
have destroyed all the evidence, but also all our papers. I have been thinking a lot about that. Just a decade ago, it would mean erasing ourselves. But not then. Not now. This just felt like freedom.
So, 90 days from now.
Yes, 90 days.
Be careful.
You too.
You know, when I was a kid, all my communication services were provided by the establishment, by the government. My phone, my mail, my radio, my television, it was all provided by the establishment, by the government itself. My kids today, they don't use the government for any of those things. They don't need their phones, they don't need their mail, they don't need their radio, and they definitely don't need their TV. Because the internet was signaling the separation of communication and media from state. Just separated the two like there was a separation of religion and state, right? Today, much of the establishment is about serving the need of storing common repositories. Whether it's the most important common repository, the banks, who has how much money or how much whatever, that's one repository, but there's also land repository, and there's also health records and criminal records and all those repositories that are managed by the state, by the government. They are not needed for that anymore. Is it anti-establishment? You know, the internet is anti-establishment, not anti. It's just a better alternative. It's just a more advanced technology to achieve the same thing without need for central control.
The promise of this technology, coupled with others, provides the notion that, you know, the trust that used to be or still is within third-party organizations is something that is questioned.
Nasreen Aini. Vicky Jones.
Nasreen, shall we?
Okay, Nasreen, let's just go over this one more time. You are Nasreen Aini, 26 years old, and you lost all your ID papers when you fled.
No, stolen. All my ID papers were stolen by traffickers.
What I would like to know is, how did you get here without any papers?
Well, have you heard about blockchain?
Okay, what has the blockchain to do with you being here with no papers?
Well, before I fled, I uploaded all my documents into a digital grab bag.
Okay, so you know computing.
Fundamentally, a blockchain can ensure that you can transact in a way which is safe, secure, and trusted. Now, most ways that we transact in society today, we're dependent on a third party to have established trust. But the blockchain eradicates or can eradicate the fact that trust needs to be established between these two people. And now I'm not talking only about monetary transactions, because I think there is much bigger potential in other places before that. Identity is something which is massive. So once you start moving to those things, you're actually moving into the fourth industrial revolution, which is that technology will become an inherent part of our society.
So the bus will take you to the refugee center, and then you will hear from us when we have proceeded your case. Okay? Good luck.
Thank you.
At that point, my life depended entirely on the blockchain. That's what kept me safe. I was memorizing the cryptographic key as a matter of life and death. I remember thinking, this is how it feels to put your trust in numbers.
Close your eyes and get some rest. Slow the beat inside your chest. Good things come to those who wait. Close your eyes, it's getting late. Sticks and stones won't break my bones. Sticks and stones won't break my bones. I am indestructible. Sticks and stones won't break my bones. Sticks and stones won't break my bones.
Adil? How much?
1,500 with papers.
No paper.
1,500 anyway. No. Bitcoin only.
I don't. I lost my mobile. This is all I have. Please. Please.
Come on, get in. Fucking cash.
There was nothing special about my escape. I tried to blend in, never argue, never laugh, just disappear. Get on the boat, into the cars, the trains, past the borders, and avoid the authorities.
Do you think these papers will work?
I think so. We need trust, Adil. We have no choice.
Would I still have left if I knew how my new society would welcome me?
Move.
Yeah. What's the first thing you want to do when we'll be there?
I don't know, there's a lot of things to do.
Maybe take a beer, please.
Hey, stop! Stop here!
Papers, please.
Next. Drop your clothes in the freezer. You get your gear back in a couple of days.
But why?
To kill your bugs. Next. Drop your clothes in the freezer. You get your gear back in a couple of days.
So that was a little bit about resident application procedure. Now let's move on to personal economy. The most common currency here is Eurobits. It's the official cryptocurrency that can be used for anything from buying in the grocery store, shop online, to pay for public transportation. Does anyone know what a cryptocurrency is?
Cryptocurrency is like money with a purpose. So now we can program money to allow it to be transferred based on some conditions. So we can do scenarios like if this, then that. And that is why a lot of developers are very excited about the blockchain, because now they can program money in ways that were not possible before.
Yeah, the easiest way to understand it is to say that right now I give you money, I give you $1. But the thing is, I can now attach conditions to it. So I can say, you will only get this money if you spend it for this. So for pocket money, let's say for a parent, you have now total control of where the money, if that money doesn't get spent for what we think it's going to be spent for, it comes back again into my wallet magically by itself.
Now, if I were to ask you 20 years ago, or even 10 years ago, how much would it cost me to issue a digital currency that anyone in the world can use? You were probably going to tell me it's going to cost you, no money would be enough. Now it costs $1.
Euro allowances, however, is restricted Eurobits, hence the R. They're only valid for buying food, hygienic products, and local buses, necessities. You cannot send them as remittances or buying any international travel tickets.
We all think that we live in a free market. We don't. A free market is a free market where you have a choice of currency. We don't have that. We have a monopoly of currency. We think we live in a free market, which doesn't work for some reason. We say, why does free market doesn't work? Because it's not free. Because it's very monopolistic. Because it's not, the free market is not just about the choice of how do you want to spend your money. It's about the choice of how do you want to hold your money.
Okay, let's try to transfer some of your allowances.
If you think about it, every currency is a community. It's a community of its holders, which is what gives it value, because they value it. When I'm choosing to change what I hold. So instead of holding this currency, I want to hold a different one. Essentially, I'm moving between groups, and I'm making that group stronger or making the group I left weaker. So you have a lot of effect as an individual by the choice of how do you want to store your capital. And you can argue that this choice is even stronger than the choice of that you apply when you vote, because it has actual and direct effect on these economies that you choose from.
This was my new family. In spite of our different beliefs and cultural backgrounds, we had something in common. We had all experienced badly run governments, corrupted states, bribes and hyperinflation, manipulated elections, conflicts, and now we share the same restricted currency. My new family was born out of mistrust.
Tea, please.
Compromised in order to place on a democratically chosen candidate in power. The ruling party has won a landslide victory in yesterday's general elections.
How is your company going, my friend? Are you on?
Teresa?
Yes, Lisa. And are you well?
It's okay.
We are so proud of you.
UN Electoral Assistance Division says that the integrity of the electoral process has been compromised.
That's what the bastard is saying.
Candidate in power.
Now, let's eat.
After reports of people not being allowed to cast their votes.
Well, it started being anti-establishment, right? And the idea that you were going to issue currency without requiring a central bank, very radical. But in those days, it was called Bitcoin, right? And people pretty quickly realized that they were operating in a position where they had lots and lots and lots of legal exposure, because although they had something that worked, they didn't have something which could be governed, right? And what comes from this is this term blockchain, which is where you take the political vision of Bitcoin, split it away from the technology of Bitcoin, and throw away the political vision. Now, a lot of people then think, well, we sold out and the game is over. Actually, I used to say, look, I don't fear the state. I fear that the state will collapse before we have a meaningful alternative. So I started worrying about a global financial collapse in 2003. When it hit in 2008, I was extremely surprised that the collapse didn't go further immediately. Instead, we were on a much slower path, where the American democracy is at breaking point, not because they did anything anti-democratic, but because America got into a position where the culture couldn't keep all of its promises to its own people. Right? We're in a position where you can legitimately see cracks on the facade of the world's most powerful government. Into this, we then put the Bitcoin story. Well, if the dollar collapses, what is Bitcoin worth? Right? Bitcoin's still going to be worth a Bitcoin, but if the dollar is worth a tenth of it is today, you might see your Bitcoin's worth $100,000, not because Bitcoin is suddenly worth a lot more, but because the dollar is worth an awful lot less. Now, in that scenario, if Bitcoin then winds up heavily used to maintain global trade, because it is stable and not controlled by anybody, anti-government, anti-establishment, or is it the new establishment?
I'm scared.
We stick to the plan. Once you and me and our families are safe, we meet where we agreed and release the documents. The world needs to know, Nasreen.
I'm so sorry.
Restricted currency. What a waste of potential. Money should be moving. Restricted Eurobits wasn't going to help me or my family. I needed to get hold of some real money.
Hi.
Hi.
Are det Eurobits?
Are Eurobits too?
Bitcoin.
That's 100 to 1.
100 to 1?
Yeah,
That's,
I know.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Could I borrow the computer?
Yeah, okay. Use free transfer. It's safe. Okay.
Well, on the one hand, you have money that is programmable, and you can send it across the entire world instantaneously, almost free. You can send it to old people, to young people, to poor people, to rich people, to people across races, ethnicities. I can send money to someone in Indonesia now, right now, if I want to. And with fiat money, there's none of these things applies.
Fiat currency is not going to go away the way we see it today. However, cryptocurrency is going to take an increasingly important and increasingly larger role.
Whenever someone comes and says, you know, here comes some technology and it's going to make the industry obsolete, it never makes an industry obsolete, it changes it. So the key is to change with technology if the technology has an impact on what you're doing, right? Who would spend Bitcoin to pay for a pizza today? I could buy a pizza to you and we could have some beers, and then tomorrow I could have bought 3 pizzas and 20 beers, right? It just doesn't make any sense.
The fluctuating value of cryptocurrencies is not a feature, it's not a bug either, it's more a symptom of something underlying. And the underlying here is what we call the monetization of a new asset. And 10,000 years ago, gold was monetized. Gold started out as just a normal commodity, and it turned into money. And it took many, many, many thousands of years. But gold ended up as something having massive value. And the same thing is happening now with Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. They're going from something which is not money into money. And because the supply is limited, the price necessarily has to rise immensely.
I had put the fate of my family in a fraction of a Bitcoin. All I could do was hope it would get them out and in safety. The days in the refugee center seemed endless. I isolated myself with my thoughts.
Expecting anyone?
No.
Hello?
Who was it?
I don't know. Someone left this. What's your name on it?
Are you okay? I heard you scream.
I'm fine. Just a bad dream.
I know it's not easy to leave it all behind. We're gonna have a gathering now in the common room. You might wanna...
Some other time, maybe. We're all dead.
If they catch us with those photographs, we are next. Listen, this place is not safe. We need to clear it up and get the hell out of here.
I'm scared.
We stick to the plan. Once you and me and our families are safe, we meet where we agreed and release the documents. The world needs to know, Nasreen. Nasreen, we're going to be fine. Come here. Trust me.
Reza, where are you?
You must have made quite an impression. It usually takes months to get a new resident number.
Well, I don't know.
Well, listen carefully. That number comes with a set of rules that you must follow. For the next 6 months, 1, do not leave the state. 2, do not break the law, and I mean at all. Even a subway fine will get you in trouble. Listen. Nasreen, I'm telling you this because your number is set up with a smart contract, a set of automated rules. And if you break them, well, then you don't have any possibilities to repeal. You'll be dealing with a machine. Okay?
Okay, so a smart contract is a piece of code that executes and transacts when certain conditions are met.
So if you look at a contract made by a lawyer, you'll recognize very quickly that all of it could be code instead of being a Word document. Because everything is, in the event of this, we will do this. And if this happens, then that, and while, and do. So everything is really programming loops with events. And that can be recreated in any programming language. So what needs to happen is that lawyers need to brush up on their programming skills rapidly, because from now on, all the contracts they make will be made in code.
Well, the bottom line is we don't know whether the smart contract is going to turn out to be important or not, right? But the world works right now largely on paper or close simulations of paper. Like a PDF file that's emailed to somebody is a close simulation of paper. It's a slightly more convenient way of doing paper, but it doesn't really do anything paper can't do. So to all intents and purposes, we just have manual processes with electronic communications. And that's consuming 10, 20, 30% of the people in any organization. Because those manual processes are what you think of as craft production, we have craft production of deals. It's like, chipping away with a pair of, with a mallet. And craft production of deals makes the deals unreliable. 1 in 20 goes wrong. So if you have a process which has 5 or 6 deals interconnected, that process will have an error rate of about 30%. So to get rid of that problem, we then create organizations in the middle which buffer the uncertainty of these deals, and these are things like prime contractors. So the world is made of huge buffering organizations that take the unreliability of the ordinary world and sort of pad it to try and produce something which is reliable and efficient.
May I come in for a minute?
Yes, I was just packing my bag. It didn't take me too long.
It's a perk of being on a run, I guess. So, the social service got you a flat?
Yes.
I got something for you. My son is into online gaming, and these things quickly get outdated. So, but it's very good for surfing.
Thank you.
No need for that. Good luck. Nasreen, you know what? You have to go out there and make yourself trustworthy. No one will ever trust a refugee. Go out there and prove yourself. Okay?
It was like getting my life back. It didn't take them too long to track me down.
We are in a race. We are. It's an industrial race, and every country is out there to capitalize off this and make money, and that's how the world works, and that's fine. But then let's be at the forefront of that, and let's be the ones that take responsibility.
Right now, the sort of PR is that it's all, decentralization and privacy and encryption and wonder. It could very easily also become the perfect machinery for tracking everything in the world and changing the law in an arbitrary fashion and having robots carry out the rule changes. You're going to like one of those a lot more than you're going to like the other.
Why are you fearing that we implement this technology? Well, because of this and that. Maybe you have a point. So what do we do about it?
We fall too easily prey to this story that we cannot control technology and we shouldn't control it, that we should just give them a free rein, that they should just run their course, and then we should try to patch up the negative consequences afterwards.
If you don't care about the technologies that are emerging today and you don't try to understand what is coming, you are irrelevant in the future.
My own flat. It wasn't much, but all my friends were here. I got invited by some hackers to a hackathon. I had the possibility of a job. Things were looking good. The only one missing was Reza. It was just like the old days. They were all here. The stressed out organizers, the confident developers, the hackers, and the ones you want to impress, the investors.
Okay, welcome everybody. This is the hackathon.
Hackathons always had that special energy. All these programmers coming together to push the boundaries. We were like pioneers at the frontier of technology.
Okay, everyone, your 24 hours starts now.
Hi guys. Hi. Do you guys need a programmer?
Absolutely.
So what's the idea?
That's what we're trying to find out. Yeah, we're brainstorming and trying to find out what we could do to make a huge impact.
And we're just trying to find some sort of narrow group of people and find a problem that we can solve in 24 hours.
Not an easy task.
So if you can program something for us right now, that'd be great.
I'll do my best.
Before, people would say, well, what do you want to do with blockchain? And everyone says, well, we want to change the world. And it's like, well, you and everyone else, buddy, right? But it is actually us and everyone else, right? It's you, it's me, it's the crew, it's everyone is going to connect. And education is key. And if we empower people, we have more control over what happens in our society, be it for better or for worse. You know, we don't believe in fairy tales. Not everything's going to be smooth. But with blockchain, it will help us develop future technology in a way that can be moderated to some degree by all of us.
I totally lost myself in the writing. Gone was the escape, the photographs. Even Reza faded. But then it all came back and hit me like a bullet.
It's freezing cold. Come, come, come.
So the thing about trust is it's very easy for people to focus on trust, but again, trust is kind of a ghost, right? Trust is really just another way of saying nothing went wrong. But I think that trust produces a very fuzzy sense of relations between people, and relations between people are not what you want technology for, right? Trust feels nice because we have a kind of human instinct towards trust, but in a 7.5 billion person world with lots and lots and lots of trouble all around that world, trust is actually probably not going to extend into the places that we want to extend trade, right? What you really want is reliability. How do you engineer reliability into the transactions that you have with people in faraway places where there is no basis for trust, right? Trustless.
Listen, Eve, I want to thank you for everything you've done, for trusting me.
No need for that. I don't need any technology to tell me who's a good person or not. I've always trusted my instincts.
You're so old school. The release. I totally forgot. It's today.
You held on to that as it was a matter of life or death.
I need your help. Can you drive me?
Sure.
Are you in trouble?
I don't know.
Anti-government? Anti-establishment? Or is it the new establishment? Oh, those boys from the internet figured out global currency. Well, they figured out global communications. Why shouldn't they figure out global currency? Wow, we got currency that works as well as email. Amazing, right? So, anti-establishment, early establishment, new establishment. Which way are we going here, right? And I don't think anybody has an answer to that. But I've been to a couple of events this year when I looked around and it was like, wow, this is a gathering of the new global elite. It's a different global elite. They're a lot more randomly selected than the existing global elite. The rules of the game they're playing are very different. But do you get a better society just because you put the nerds in charge? I guess we're going to find out because nobody else seems to be able to compete with us effectively. What happens next?
Are you sure this is the right place?
I think so.
No matter what you're up to, please be careful.
Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. A long way from home.
We need to be more clear about the strong presence of technology in shaping or co-shaping our societies. Technology is both good and bad, and it's always involved in a number of goods and bads, but it's never really neutral. The technology itself could be indifferent to whether you use it in a certain way or that way, of course. But we know since Francis Bacon in the 16th century, he said, power and knowledge are one.
Sometimes I feel like a motherless child, a long way from home.
Can we put our trust in numbers? I don't know. But let me take a guess. We will always need to take the first step. Take a chance on that something or someone unknown. Let go. And allow your trust in people to pull you over the gap. This is for you, Reza.
Thank you, Andrew. The controversy known as the blockchain leaks seems far from over.
Oh shit! Nasreen! You did it!
The question everybody asks now is, how could this happen? A press conference has been issued for 8 p.m.
She did it!
Until then, all we can say for sure is, this.
She did it! Look!
The latest developments suggest that global consultancy giant Johnson & Pearce have facilitated arms contracts between European governments and the regime. The question everybody asks now is, how could this happen? A press conference has been issued for 8 p.m. tonight. Until then, all we can say for sure is, this is getting ugly.